The Borderlands movie debuted with a perfect score of 0%. A movie so bad, a writer had to ask for his name to be removed from the credits. It also stars some of the biggest A-list actors like Cate Blanchett, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, and Jamie Lee Curtis. And it also cost $115 million to make. So how exactly did this happen to the Borderlands movie? Okay, so first I want to address the curse. Since the dawn of mankind, people have been saying that there is a curse affecting every video game adaptation ever made. This has been proven to be not true. Not by the Borderlands movie, of course, but by others, like The Last of Us and Fallout. I've made a video in the past about bad video game adaptations, and I really wish I had waited until this one came out, because this one would have been on the top of the list. In order to find out what really happened to the Borderlands movie, we have to go back to 2015, when this movie was first announced. The first director that was in talks to direct this film was Leigh Whannell, an Australian filmmaker, known for writing films directed by James Wan. These guys might sound familiar. Whannell and Wan are the creators of the Saw franchise. So basically, they're pretty good at what they do. Leigh also directed his own film called Upgrade, which did pretty well. Sounds promising, right? The film was also originally planned to be written as an R-rated take of the Borderlands games, which sounds like it matches up perfectly to the Borderlands universe. A first-person loot shooter killing enemies and monsters, and a game with over 17 million variations of weapons. Well, at some point the studio decided to change the rating to a PG-13 to appeal to a wider audience. And then another writer came onto the project and took over scripting. Borderlands was also announced only 1 year after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 was released, during Marvel's golden age. So it's not a surprise that what we got today feels like a dated clone of Guardians. Like a Guardians of the Galaxy from Temu. In 2020, it was announced that Eli Roth was officially directing the Borderlands movie. So Leigh Whannell, one of the creators of Saw, was no longer attached. Instead, Eli Roth was. And you might know him as an actor from Inglourious Basterds, but Eli Roth is also a director. He's directed films like Hostel, Knock Knock, Cabin Fever, and The Green Inferno. If you don't know these films, I don't blame you. There's a reason why. They're not that good. Not sure why the studios really wanted a horror filmmaker to direct this one, considering it ended up being rated PG-13. Also writing the screenplay was the award-winning Craig Mazin, known now for creating and writing shows like Chernobyl and The Last of Us. Craig Mazin. Don't forget his name, he's important. The casting of this movie, which has now been heavily criticized, happened between 2020 and 2021, right in the eye of the butthole of COVID. Cate Blanchett, who plays Lilith, said she decided to join the project because there may have been a little COVID madness. Cate Blanchett, who is currently 55 years old, is an amazingly talented actress. But as Lilith, it doesn't really make sense. Kevin Hart is a naturally funny guy. He's an amazing comedian who's showing he's still at the top of his game to a new generation through Kai Cenat's stream. But Roland is a tough, grim, brooding soldier type, which doesn't really match Kevin Hart either. On top of the fact that Kevin Hart is also 45 years old and 5'5". Jamie Lee Curtis, talented as fuck, playing Tannis. Again, kind of the age thing. I'm not trying to be ageist here, and all these actors are extremely talented in their own respective fields. But honestly, it doesn't make much sense to cast these actors as these characters, unless you're just trying to slap a bunch of big names onto a movie to get people into the seats. Also, why the fuck are they all so old? By 2021, the whole cast had officially been announced, and by April, Craig Mazin's script had been rewritten by 2 other writers, and then again by Eli Roth. Filming also began in April 2021 and had wrapped by June. But in January 2023, it was announced that the film would be going through 2 weeks of reshoots. This time directed by Tim Miller instead of Eli Roth, since he was busy on a different movie. There was a rumor that Eli Roth had messed up the script so bad that he was fired well after filming had wrapped. And that's why they brought in Tim Miller to salvage what was left of the film. Then Yet another writer had to be brought in to write new pages for Tim Miller's reshoots. So by 2023, we had 2 different directors and 6 different writers, writing and rewriting the script, all during COVID. At this point, the script had changed so much that the writer Craig Mazin, remember him, removed his name completely from the project and was replaced by Joe Crombie. He knew that this train wreck was going to be so bad that he had to come out publicly and say that Joe Crombie was not a pseudonym of his. Bro literally said hell no and dipped. If that wasn't messy enough, Cate Blanchett also said in an interview she was prepping for another character in a different movie in between takes on the Borderlands set. Cate plays a conductor in the movie Tar, and she said she was so grateful to be filming Borderlands in Budapest because she was able to meet a concert pianist and focus on preparing for her role as a conductor. Even Jamie Lee Curtis remembers her in full Borderlands Lilith costume practicing conducting and reading music scores. Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox, aka the annoying Twitter guy that everyone hates, was the main source of material on the Borderlands set. So they would ask him about lore and the look of the world. At one point, Randy had brought his personal drone to Budapest to fly around and film the scenes for fun. At the end, he gave them the footage. And then they actually ended up using some of it in the film. At this point, we should just get everyone on the crew to start filming on their iPhones, hand that in, and then we can use that for the opening sequence. The reviews since debuting on Rotten Tomatoes is officially higher than 0%. It's now sitting at 10%, with some of the reviews saying,
"An abysmal piece of garbage gasping for air that should have received a mercy killing with a stone to the fucking skull." Extended review here.
And we even have the CEO of Take-Two begging people to give it a chance. Bro is on his fucking knees, pleading to the audience to see this shitty movie. Some movies are so bad they're funny. This movie is so bad you will regret wasting your time on it. If you enjoy an action shooter without the action or blood, a comedy without the funny, and jokes that were considered old even when they were first written, you might enjoy this movie. At least this movie will be remembered for one thing. It'll be added to the list of worst video game movies of all time.